Well, this video is the first in the audit series on the KK Tutorials YouTube channel, and hope you find this helpful and beneficial in your course as you study your audit and assurance course, accountancy course. Yeah, so we've picked one of the earlier topics that you'll learn in your syllabus. This is about ethics, and I thought using an example will be able to appreciate the ethics that you learn from theory and try and visualize them practically, and you can be able to apply that knowledge. So let's read this paragraph together, and then we'll come and highlight some major points from it. Yeah, so there's this scenario that's here that's saying that corruption is endemic in the Kingdom of Wakanda. For instance, some empirical evidence suggests that 1 in every 5 Wakandans paid a bribe to access services such as healthcare and education. It is therefore not surprising when some pundits argue that Wakanda's medical supply scandal made anti-corruption a key election issue in that country's 2020 general elections. The painful realities of corruption's danger came to light when an alleged $18 million scandal scam in Wakanda's Ministry of Entertainment became public knowledge. A yet-to-be-registered company, Bumblebee Limited, won the contract. The supplies the company made to the ministry were later alleged to be of substandard quality. Accounting had a major role to play in the ordeal. It is alleged that Mr. Malume, the ministry accountant who signed off on the payment, sensed something wrong but still went ahead to sign off because he knew the director of Bumblebee and did not want to disappoint him. Alinafe, the junior accountant in charge of payments, questioned Mr. Malume when she saw the bank transfer instruction, which was told to deliver at the bank. Mr. Malume, however, told her, if you want to be dismissed, keep asking questions about this. Alinafe left Mr. Malume in a discussion with the ministry external audit team, Pantewako Limited. Mr. Malume was impressed with how the audit team had been handling the audits and suggested that they should consider doing the financial reports for Project 101, a new COVID-19 project under the ministry. Zilile, the audit partner, exclaimed that his wife, a medical doctor, had just been accepted by the major funder of the project as the head of Project 101. It was an amazing atmosphere hearing the meeting talk about how well connected everyone was. On hearing that, the senior audit manager, that's Hamududu, who was seated quietly all the while had studied law, was admitted to the bar and later did accounting. Mr. Malume mentioned that Mrs. Malume had dragged him to court for divorce. He wanted Hamdudu to represent him in court at a personal level. We'll end there. That's basically our paragraph that we want to analyze on ethics. So, first of all, what are ethics? What are those 5 ethics that every accountant should display? Let's just run through them quickly on a whiteboard to analyze everything. So we have the 5 ethics. 1, we know, we won't go in the normal order, just have to list them randomly. Integrity, confidentiality. We also have, that's supposed to be T, yeah, confidentiality, objectivity. The 4th one, professional competence and due care. The 5th one is professional behavior. Every accountant has to display these to be called an ethical person. Yeah, so these are just like the 5 ethics. The question here, the one I'm about to ask for us to pick from this scenario from reading is what threats have been highlighted in this scenario? That's the question I want to answer in this video. But as we said, since threats, they are hand in hand with the ethics. That's why I've just touched on the ethics as a form of just refreshing your mind. But before we go to the paragraph, what threats can an accountant be exposed to? So let's list the threats. There are about 5 as well. We have self-review threats. We have self-interest threats. We also have advocacy threats. Fourth, familiarity threats. Familiarity threats. And the fifth one is intimidation threat. Well, having known the 5 threats, go now and identify them in that scenario. That's how you apply. As we said, auditing, they'll give you the theory part of it, but most of the time you need to be applying yourself in questions to see if you have understood this, because you might just be told what's self-review, self-interest. You have to understand them as you even read from paragraphs. Because self-review, a short brief explanation could be you coming to do your own, like you're coming to review your own work, e.g. you're the same one who was preparing the financial statements, and then they come and tell you that, oh, come and also audit the same financial statements that you prepared. What is that? That is self-review. Self-interest comes in where you might go to a stand firm, they offer you a very, very large gift, very huge gift, like more than is necessary. In that case, you're the one auditing the same firm that has given you the same gift. Will you be able to audit free and fairly? No, your mind will not be at 100%. So there'll be that self-interest, because you'll be like, oh, they're giving me this gift, so how can I turn them down? Or you get so make sure when you're looking at these traits, you understand them in those lines. Advocacy, you're trying to vouch for someone, or you're standing in to represent someone, maybe in courts. That's the advocacy trait. Familiarity, you know someone on a friendly basis. It could be relative, that kind of scenario. That's familiarity trait. Intimidation, you're afraid of maybe your superior. You're afraid to report your superior, or you have been threatened to lose your job. So I'm sure some of these are even coming to light even in the paragraph that we read. So now let's analyze the paragraph, and then now we can be able to pick what traits we've seen in that short passage, and that's how we'll be able to apply. Sometimes the traits will even be repeating themselves. You'll find that you've picked about 4 scenarios in the paragraph with just one type of trait. It's okay. The lecturer just wants to see if you've understood. It doesn't mean that, oh, you have to make sure that all 5 should check out. No. That's not the catch here. You have to just show that you've picked the concept and you analyze the whole scenario and pick out all the given threats and highlight them with these that you're seeing on the screen. So let's go back and answer now the threats in the passage. So I made it a little bit easier to come and pick out the answers. I'll focus on the parts that have been underlined. Let's begin from the top there. That sentence, let's start from the paragraph. Starts, okay, accounting had a major role to play in the audio. It is alleged that Mr. Malume, the ministry accountant who signed off on the payments, let's focus on this same statement I'm about to read, signed off on the payments, sensed something wrong, but still went ahead to sign off because he knew the director of Bumblebee and did not want to disappoint him. End there. That same statement. What type of threat is there? Well, you'll notice that here there is intimidation threat. Why do we say that? He is what? Afraid that he will disappoint his director. As we said, intimidation is about what? Fear. There is that fear somewhere. It should be highlighted in the sentence. So you can say that already in our passage, I can say me I've already picked. Just look on the small window I've opened on the left hand side of the screen. One of the threats I've picked is intimidation in the case study. And you know, when you're answering an audit question, don't just say intimidation. So the intimidation came from which scenario? You would even quote some statement that this man, Mr. Malume, was afraid to disappoint, and this is actually intimidation threat. That's how you answer. So let's look for another one. Threat 2. Next sentence. Go to this part which says Alinafe. That's after that while we ended reading there. Alinafe, the junior accountant in charge of payments, questioned Mr. Malume when she saw the bank transfer instruction which she was told to deliver at the bank. Then Mr. Malume, however, told her, if you want to be dismissed, keep asking questions. Just there. Don't you think there's another threat there? Yes. This too is intimidation. They've taught this person, a junior accountant, most likely not even a high qualified accountant. Yeah. So now you're being taught by your senior or superior. No, that's intimidation. So you would even say, again, from this other scenario of the junior accountant, there's another intimidation threat. You just say this person has been threatened that if they keep on asking, that brings about an intimidation threat to these accountants too. We proceed. Well, we ended on the part where they told the dismissed. We continue. Alinafe left Mr. Malume in a discussion with the ministry external audit team, Pantewako Limited. Mr. Malume was impressed. Here now let's continue. It's a very key point about it. Mr. Malume was impressed with how the audit team had been handling the audits and suggested that they should consider doing the financial reports for Project 101, a new COVID-19 project under the ministry. Let's end there. That statement there, there's a threat actually. If you really read that statement and understood it, I'm repeating the key part here. This audit team, they were impressed with their work. Then they told them that they should consider doing what? The financial reports of Project 101. This is a firm that they are auditing, and they should also do the what? The financial reports. Have you gotten the logic? There's a threat here. Self-review threats. What did we say about it? They are coming to basically check your own work. So you say the third one I've picked from my scenario is self-review threat. So you're basically even don't just say self-review, like what is leading to that? Yeah, you would say, oh, this company, Pantewako, these auditors, they are also coming to review again, prepare the financial reports. That's self-review threats. That's how you would explain that point. We continue. There's this one that followed after that statement that Zilile, the audit partner, exclaimed that his wife, a medical doctor, had just been accepted by the major funder of the project as the head of Project 101. It was an amazing atmosphere. But just that same statement, Zilile, the audit partner, exclaimed that his wife, a medical doctor, had just been accepted by the major funder of the project as the head of Project 101. So his wife has been accepted by the funder. You've seen the major funder of this company. So there's some self-interest somehow here, because your company, your major funder, you don't want to lose your major fund in a company. If you also just analyze this scenario, this would be self-interest threat. You can equally put it as well, self-interest, and we can just pick yet another one. Yeah, then it goes on. There's a last statement. I think let's jump to the two last sentences. Go to the two last sentences on the screen. The one which starts with Mr. Malume, the last two underlined sentences. Mr. Malume mentioned that Mrs. Malume had dragged him to court for divorce. He wanted Hamud Dudu to represent him in court at personal level. Who is this so-called Hamud Dudu person? If you go a few sentences back, you'll be told that this person was a senior audit manager. But he's being asked to do what? To defend someone in court. As an accountant, you go and vouch for someone or a client in court. It's called advocacy threat. That's a threat of advocacy, because we said advocacy is you're trying to vouch for someone, represent, or you're trying to defend a client. Yeah, you end up compromising certain information that you're not supposed to disclose. So that's an advocacy threat, which we have equally identified, and we put it there, advocacy. And basically, we have found about 5. Yeah, the question could have just asked for 5 or 6, but you basically list what they are telling you. But this was a demonstration to help you understand ethics and threats to an accountant in a given case study. And that's like our intro video. Watch out for more videos in auditing on other chapters, like we have studied on ethics.